woke up to the news that apparently a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood sequel is in the works, with Brad Pitt returning to play Cliff Booth and David Fincher directing. I then double checked, triple checked, quadruple checked. It was not an April Fool's joke. The Hollywood Reporter stressed it was not an April Fool's joke. This is actual real news. And the big reason this news interests me so much is because Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is honestly one of my favourite films of the past 6-7 years. I adore this film. The more I watch it, the more I think about it. And honestly, give it time, it might actually become my favourite Tarantino film. So hearing that a possible sequel is in the works, directed by David Fincher, I mean, yeah, I want to see it. Tarantino is writing the script, by the way, so he's not completely uninvolved. If he wasn't involved in any capacity, I'm not sure I'd be as interested in it, even with David Fincher directing it, but as long as Tarantino has a piece in there and he actually has his fingerprints in there, I think we should be in business. There's still a bit of confusion though, because Deadline is reporting that this is going to be an actual sequel and it's going to continue the adventures of Cliff Booth, Brad Pitt's character. And they're also saying that DiCaprio is unlikely to return as Rick Dalton. But the Hollywood Reporter is saying that this is not going to be an actual sequel, but more of a, they call it a derivative. And it's going to be, to be honest, I'm not actually quite sure what they're describing it as being. Apparently it relates back to Tarantino's Abandoned, the movie critic, and that was going to be a very meta film that's going to have characters of his own. I'm not quite sure, to be honest, what the movie critic was going to be, but apparently this is going to be what it was going to be, and Cliff Booth is going to be a character in the film, but it's not a sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah, like I said, there's still some question marks. But again, if Brad Pitt is coming back to play Cliff Booth again, and if that return is directed by David Fincher, of course I want to see it. And it's not like there's no grounds for it, because apparently Tarantino revealed a lot more backstory about Cliff Booth in the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood novel, which I have not read, hence why I said apparently. And, you know, there's the whole mystery about, did he actually kill his wife with a spear gun? Apparently they reveal that in the novel. And there's just all sorts of different wacky stuff the character gets up to before the events of the film and possibly after the events of the film. And just given the notoriety of the Cliff Booth character in the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood universe, especially since now he's the one who stopped the Manson murders, there's so much potential for this film if it gets made. The only thing about this news that disappoints me is that if the film gets made, it's going to be on Netflix, which just depresses me because this is a film that just feels made for the cinema. So it going straight to Netflix, yeah, that annoys me. But a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood sequel in general was not on my bingo card for 2025. And David Fincher directing instead of Tarantino just adds to the intrigue, adds to the surprise. But I want to know your thoughts on this. Are you excited about a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood sequel? Do you want it to stay as a standalone film? Are you not interested because Tarantino's not directing it despite writing it? Let me know all your thoughts about this. And also, rest in peace Val Kilmer. Very sad news reading that. The scene in Top Gun Maverick hits a little bit different now.